Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here with another Brad's vlog. And in this vlog I'm going to be talking about what is truly going on pertaining to these UAP drones. Now just the previous Wednesday I was with Brianne and we were looking into a tarot zodiac about what is actually happening with this whole situation. And we got a pretty good glimpse of what it represents, okay? And as I look around the internet and I hear other people talking about this, boy, there's so much doom and gloom out there. It's unbelievable to see of how people think that this is the end. This is warfare. This is the NWO. This is Illuminati. This is the one world government. There's just such bleak views with this whole situation. And I'm just, you guys don't get it, do you? Right? And this is what happens is when you have people who are completely and totally uninformed. They don't go searching their heart. They don't look inside themselves. They go right to the ego and they see exactly what the ego is trying to tell them, rather than actually going in here and looking. It is nothing like that. It has nothing to do with a one world government. It has nothing to do with a hostile takeover. It has nothing to do with, people losing all their freedoms and privileges and rights and all that. It's nothing to do with that whatsoever. Because I've looked at this through the Akashic records, and I've also looked at this a few more times, even through the tarot as well too, and again, just being fed intuitive information. This is a manhunt. This is a complete and total international takedown of the cabal, completely. What is happening is that the United States military is involved, the Canadian military is involved, several different countries' militaries are involved, basically creating this task force. Now, if you remember quite a few weeks ago, for those of you who regularly tune into my webcasts, I was commenting about the second moon, that there is a smaller moon just behind our moon, and the inhabitants of that second moon. And these would represent our star ancestors, our original family, not the culprits, not the imitators, not the perpetrators, so to speak, right? Or imposters. These are the actual family members. And as I was tuning into them, working with the Akasha, working with tarot, just tuning into that second moon, they are very much here to clean up the mess. And they're going to be working with a lot of the militaries of the world to basically give them strategies, to tell them exactly here's how you can take down these cabals for good. And this is part of the plan. I don't know if this is the full plan, but this is part of it. So what is actually happening is that there are conveyances that may be offshore that are actually deploying a lot of these particular drones. There are also, again, US military personnel that are working together on behalf of this international task force to deploy their own drones. Canada is deploying their own drones. UK is providing their own drones. So many different countries have this drone technology. And this is why we're seeing a whole bunch of different kinds of drones as we look at people's videos, right? And people are just completely bewildered and saying, what in the heck is going on here? Is this a UFO invasion? Is this the extraterrestrial? Is this the hoax alien invasion that we've been told about? No. That has been scrapped. That's not going to be happening. Is this the one world government that we're talking about? No. This has been scratched from happening. Is this some sort of new surveillance where we have to put up with these drones all the time? No. That's not what's happening either. This is an international task force that represents many different countries that are basically hunting down cabal strongholds, cabal installations, a lot of these criminal cartels, specifically a lot of these illegal invaders, because they're not illegal immigrants, they're illegal invaders, and they are basically setting up shops, right, all across the United States. Every single one of them are being taken down. This is an international working that's taking place, this international operation that many drones may start to survey exactly where these places are. They may also, based on their payload, may actually start destroying these particular forms of installations or strongholds and so forth. There's actually video footage of some of these drones actually opening fire on a certain location, destroying it. There's also video of drones basically shooting down this type of gas again, upon a location. That could be something like nerve gas, and they're actually going in, they're taking down everybody there. Okay, this is a complete and total, again, maybe it's a part one of a complete and total dismantling of these criminal cartels. It's a complete and total dismantling of these invaders, of these cabal members, of these strongholds, these drug labs, maybe other laboratories as well too. It's who knows how much stuff is there, but that's exactly why they're sending the drones in. And my feeling is New Jersey and New York have been hotspots for these types of locations. And they are basically what's getting a lot of concentration of these drones. New Jersey is one of the largest fortified areas for a lot of these cartels. A lot of these cartels are in New Jersey. Okay? Wherever else we may see them across the United States, and like I said, even Canada has some of them as well too, like even specifically around Ontario. Lots of those in Ontario as well too. And the UK, of course, is getting it as well too. And I think many other countries that have basically been bombarded by these invaders. And that's exactly what's happening. We're calling it immigration, but in actuality, this is an invasion, right? This invasion that's been happening. Well, these drones represent the counter invaders, right? So if you have invaders coming into the country and they're creating labs, they're creating strongholds, they're creating installations, they're creating bases of operations, these drones are basically seeking them out and taking them down. And maybe there's task forces that go in afterwards and start apprehending a lot of them. This is all part of a massive deportation agenda, and this is exactly how it begins. I do not feel that the drones are going to be there permanently. Okay, it wouldn't surprise me, maybe after a few weeks, even before Trump gets inaugurated, either before or during, or maybe shortly after, that we'll start seeing less and less of these drones. They're basically coming in, they're fulfilling a mission. Once they fulfill their mission, they leave. Who knows exactly what the cover story will be for this? Maybe it's, oh, it's military training and we're ready to launch some of these new technologies, and maybe we'll start getting universities and educational centers to start developing these new types of technology, and maybe this will introduce a new form of travel in the next little while. Could be, right? But it amazes me how many people just immediately go to fear porn. And they just think that this is one world government, this is new world order, this is takeover, this is permanent surveillance, this is going to be happening all the time. You're going to have a bunch of drones in the sky all the time. They're never going to go away. No, man. No. That's not what's happening. Get out of your ego. That's not what's taking place, right? What's really taking place is that when you start following the trail, when you start feeling the breadcrumbs where everything else that has happened, and seeing the interconnectedness of all these different events, such as what has happened with the second moon, such what has happened with a lot of these multiple task forces that are both on-world and off-world. When you start putting all the pieces together, you see exactly what's happening. This is not a surprise. Don't be surprised by this. This is all part and parcel of a worldwide cleanup. It is reversing the effects of invasion that has been happened primarily through the Biden regime and their associates. And now we're seeing the countermeasures of that. Now we're seeing the counter-invasion task forces. And they are going in and they are sweeping clean the United States. They are going in and they're going to sweep clean the United Kingdom. They're going in, they're going to sweep clean Canada. Wherever any of these particular installations are, whoever has been affected by these particular forms of invasions, of immigrants, so to speak, really invaders, criminal cartels, right? It's just a matter of the Khazarian mafia trying to spread all over the world like a net. And now you have these drone task forces that are designed to go and hunt every single one of them down. That's what's happening. That's what's taking place. So basically, as I've said for years, the counter forces, or we could refer to them as the alliances, have the upper hand here, right? About 75 to 80% of the strong force of military might on this planet is run by the counter forces, not the cabals, right? So the cabals are dwindling and they're falling apart. And if this continues, and maybe it goes into another phase perhaps as well, if this continues, we could probably see the complete and total extermination of the cabals before the end of next year, right? So this is a complete and total takedown. Now, if you don't believe me, I would suggest you go within and you look into your heart. You go into your source just like I do, right? I'm not saying you need to 100% believe me. This is a perspective I'm giving you, but Just, I've seen so much fear porn, and I've seen so much calamity with people coming in and saying that this is what it represents and this is what it represents when they don't have a clue. They don't even know what they're talking about, right? Just recently, Trump has been briefed on this whole situation, right? Before he was briefed, he was basically saying, all right, get the military out there and shoot them down. Military is not going to shoot down their own craft. Nor are they going to shoot down their allies' craft as well, too. So they're not going to do that. And that's my feeling. Okay, Trump hasn't been briefed yet on what's going on. Then he's been briefed. And then he just basically says, I have no comment. Okay, he's been briefed. He knows what's going on, so he's no longer supporting that idea of going and having military shoot down these things, right? He was for it before he was briefed, and now that he's briefed, he won't do anything like that, right? This is, again, this kind of impulsiveness and kind of his stupidity that gets in the way at times. But now that he's briefed, he's not really doing that. He's just keeping his mouth shut. He says, I can't comment on the matter. And I think this was just one of the recent briefings today that took place. So again, guys, all I'm giving you is a perspective. And like I said, I'm not saying you need to hang your hat on what I'm sharing. I advise you to go within, right? Do the same thing I do. Go within, talk to spirit, talk to the source, talk to your subconscious, see what comes together through the heart without ego filters. If you can do that, I bet you anything you're going to get exactly what I've received. So this is a wonderful thing. This is exactly what the tarot has been telling me, and I've looked at it multiple times. So are we sure this is a good thing? They sure this is a good thing? Yes, this is really good. It's the sun, it's the sun, it's the sun, right? This is the complete and total taking down of the cabal worldwide. They are being completely exterminated. They are basically being hunted down by exterminators. And these are the drones. The drones, and again, it may be task forces that are linked to it as well too. But the drones are basically acting like exterminators to take out all the cockroaches. And this is going to continue to happen. All of these strongholds are going down, and I think the next phase will basically be a deportation that many different countries are going to start running, right? Even Canada has talked about that nature of deportation taking place as well too. But before that deportation takes place, they're taking down their installations, they're taking down their bases of operations, they're taking down their strongholds, they're taking down all of the presences that these particular invaders have applied while going into countries illegally as invaders. So that's my 2 cents. That's what I'm getting through perspective. That is what I feel is truly going on. But like I said, go within, see exactly what you get. Maybe you get something different. I don't know. I'd love to hear it. But I can tell you it's definitely not, it's not what a lot of people think. It's nothing to do with the NWO. It's nothing to do with the Illuminati. It's nothing to do with permanent surveillance. It's nothing to do with you having your rights and privileges and freedoms being taken away. Not at all. Quite the opposite from what I've received from within. Okay? Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Take care. Be well. Namaskar.